Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I'm Chris. Yoga for grounding stability is a slow and mindful practice. We will focus on moving slowly into deeper postures as we invite core strength to give us stability. You will need a yoga block for a few of today's moves. So grab your mat and let's get started. We're going to begin in child's pose, so knees apart, feet together, and then we're going to walk those hands forward. Feel free to have something under your knees like a blanket, a towel, and then walk your hands forward. We're gently just going to let our elbows melt to the floor to start with, and do a gentle shift with your body side to side as you try to get your belly between your thighs, loosening things up, and then slowly start to draw your head to the mat. Now, if your head doesn't go to the mat, you can stack your fist, because I want you to really relax through the upper back and the spine. You can also use a block here for your forehead. And then just breathe here. Maybe use those palms to gently press your tailbone further toward your heels. And then we're going to find our breath. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel your shoulders relaxing. And just notice what's going on in the body. No tension. And if there is any, just try to exhale it out. Feel the belly expanding between your thighs as you breathe in. Feel it slightly contract as you exhale. One more breath. Now I want you to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Think about your practice today. Being gentle and kind to your body, and just going what feels good to you. Open up those fingers a little wider. And to get us started today, we're actually going to do a lion's breath. So breathe in through the nose. I really want you to stretch the tongue out and open the mouth in a nice let it go. And then slowly lifting your head and looking forward at your fingertips. And then just again, start to gently rock your body side to side. So your hips go heel to heel. Feeling that gentle shift. Notice the shoulders. If they're up too high, pull them away from your ears. Then we're going to start to reach and walk those fingertips a little more forward and start to come up off of your heels. And we're going to draw a big circle with the whole body, drawing the hips over the hands and back to the heels, and then up over one of the wrists. Go whichever direction feels natural to you. Big circles, up, back, and down. One more circle, and when your hips get to the heels, we're going to change direction. Now go the opposite way. And just notice the hips here, loosening things up. Knees are still wide. One more circle. And then we're going to glide the hips back to the heels, walk the hands in closer to the body. You're going to place your left hand in the middle of your mat out in front of you, and then just take your right hand and reach it up. Open the heart, and then when it's up, start to draw little circles with that extended right arm. Just notice again the shoulder, maybe a little extension through the spine. One more circle, and then change direction. And then take that right arm, and you're going to come all the way down and thread it underneath the left. Palm is up. Draw it underneath, lowering to the shoulder. Walk your left fingertips out in front of you. Now, if it's hard to get down to the ground with your hips at your heels, feel free to lift your hips up so you can get a little lower, and you can also use a block or a pillow under your shoulder, and then wiggle those right fingertips. And again, focus on that belly expanding with each breath. Then you're going to draw your left hand close to your head, place it on the floor. Use that left hand to draw yourself up. Release the right arm and place it on the floor. And make those adjustments so now the right hand can go in the middle, out in front of you. And then extend and open up to the left. Reach the left arm up and then start to draw circles. And just notice what's going on in the thoracic spine, the upper back area, and change direction of your circle. And then you're going to take that left arm, thread it underneath. Palm is up, sliding it across underneath the right arm to the right side. Walk your right hand out in front of you, and then wiggle those left fingertips. And feeling the stretch through the left shoulder. Make adjustments that what feels good to you. And again, you can always lift your hips higher if you need to. Use a block or a pillow under your shoulder. Find your breath. Feel the belly expanding between the thighs as you breathe in. Feel the shoulders relaxing a little more as you exhale. Keep wiggling those left fingers. And then draw your right hand towards your head. Place the hand flat on the floor to push yourself up. Come all the way back to neutral. Now you're going to shift your body so you come off of your heels, draw your knees under the hips, and then tuck your toes underneath. You're just going to shift your hips backwards into your heels so you can just get a little stretch through the ankles. Good. And then I want you to bend your elbows, pull them down, and then gently straighten them as you press up. Good, nice and tall. And then if you would like, you can come all the way up to hero, lengthening through the front of the body. And just notice, maybe place your hands on your low back and place your fingertips in along the outside edge of your spine. Just place them in there so you have a little bit of pressure and some support, and then pull the elbows open and back. Good. Looking up diagonally in front of you. Take a deep breath in. Maybe tilt back slightly. Another breath. And then take your right arm and we're going to reach it up to the sky. And then keep your left fingertips right there on the back as you side bend slightly to your left. Good. So I'll be facing you so you can see. So you're here, your right arm is up, and you're slightly bending to the left. And then take that arm, and I want you to diagonally reach behind you towards your right heel. If you can't reach it, no worries. Keep your other hand behind your back. Open it up. Open up the chest. Look behind you to the right. And then slowly release that arm up to the sky. Come back tall. And then bring that right hand behind the back. Reestablish that connection on the spine to give yourself support. Lengthen through the left arm, bringing it up. Side bend to your right. And just breathe. And then you're going to take that arm and gently sweep it down and reach behind, just touching at the heel. Look behind you. Open it up. Another breath. Notice which side might have a little more resistance. And then inhale. Both arms come all the way up to the sky. And then you're going to tuck your toes back to the tops of the feet. Lower your hips to your heels if that feels comfortable. If you need to keep your toes tucked under or you get any cramping, feel free to go there. So you have options there. Sitting nice and tall, extend the arms out to the side. Take your right elbow under your left. Let's find our eagle arms. If that doesn't work, you can always place your hands on top of your shoulders. So the right elbow's under left eagle arms or placing the elbows stacked on the shoulders. And then just a gentle up and down, loosening up through the arms, the shoulders, and then extend the arms out to the side. And this time the left elbow comes under the right. And again, eagle arms or stack those hands and the elbows, and a gentle up, down. And then we gently release, extend the arms out to the side. Go ahead and bring your hands to the floor in front of you. Bend the elbows as you shift all the way forward into a tabletop. Separate your knees into an even hip distance apart. Tops of your feet pressed into the floor, and let's open up the fingers. Look down at your thumbs. Make sure your index fingers are pointing to the front of the mat, your thumbs towards each other. Push into the tops of your feet. Draw your chin in. Exhale as you round through the back. And then inhale. Lift the head and the tailbone. Let's find our cat-cow with our breath. And round. Nice exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift and arch. Exhale, round. And finishing here, inhale, lift. And then find that neutral spine. So you really want to ground those fingertips into the earth, the tops of the feet, and then draw your hips, drop them to the right, just slightly. And then slowly transition through the center, drop them to the left. And just notice what you have going on. Back to center. Rotate and drop the hips to the right just a little. And then back to center to the left. And then we're finding our center. Neutral spine. Think about a cat. If a cat was pregnant, the belly would be kind of down here hanging out. So push the belly down. Take a nice inhale and feel it expanding. But I want you to keep that neutral spine. So as you breathe in, you're going to feel that contract, not only forward, but to the back wall, the sides, top and bottom. So just fill it like a balloon. And then keep that contraction as you exhale. And pull the shoulders away from the ears. Now try not to shift your weight to any side. We're keeping it neutral. Keep the belly tight and start to slowly extend your right toe along the mat towards the back of your mat and tuck that toe under at the back of your mat. Maintaining your balance and your core, slowly lift that leg straight to the back of the mat and point that toe. Find that glute that's working, that right glute. Maybe pushing into that left top of your foot. And then very slowly draw that knee back into place on the floor. Try not to shift your body weight too much. The goal is to stay centered, that core is engaged. And now extend slowly the left toe to the back of the mat, keeping it touching. Tuck the toe. Maintain that balance. Slowly lift that left leg up. Notice the difference from one leg to the other. Lowering it down, bring the knee back to place. Now you're going to keep that core engaged. We're going to extend the right arm to the front of the mat. And then you're going to sweep the right arm out to the right side. Maintain that core. Sweep the arm across, tap the left shoulder. Sweep the arm back out to the front. And then back to the floor. Notice the change. Try not to shift your body weight too much as the left arm sweeps to the front of the mat. Sweep it out to the side. Sweep it across, tap your right shoulder. Sweep it back out to the front. And then back onto the mat. Notice the difference again. Engaging the core, pull those shoulders away from the ears. You're going to slowly extend again that right toe, drag it along the mat to the back of the mat. Tuck your toe under, push into it, stretch through the ankle of the right foot. Press into the fingertips. Now if you can, lift your left knee off the floor. You're just pushing into the top of your left foot. Maybe lift your left foot off the floor, lower it back down, and then the knee. Center yourself, engaging that core, still That belly is expanded as you breathe in. Lift the right foot off the floor. Leg is extended to the back of the mat. Left arm to the front. So opposite hand, opposite leg. Left arm, right leg. Find your breath, looking at your right thumb on the floor. Embrace the shakiness. And then slowly bring that left hand to the floor, right knee to the floor. Sometimes it's a little more challenging to go slow. Slowly extend your left foot to the back of the mat. Tuck your toe, really stretch into, push yourself just slightly backwards so you're going into the ankle, stretching it out. Push into that right top of your foot, maybe lift the right knee off the floor. Maybe lift your whole foot off the floor. And then the foot goes back down. Then the knee. Shift your body weights just slightly so you can start to lift the left foot off the floor. Extend it to the back wall or the back of your mat. And then slowly extend your right arm to the front of your mat. So opposite arm, opposite leg, extended tabletop. Embrace the shakiness. If you're putting a lot of pressure on the palm, push it into the fingertips. Find your breath. And then slowly bring your right hand to the floor, left knee to the floor. Separate your knees, feet together, find your child's pose. And then walk your elbows in and forward. Bring your palms together. Option to bring those thumbs to the spine of the neck. And just find your breath here. Feel the calmness come over your body as you breathe in and out. Feel the belly expanding between the thighs. Feel your body relax a little more with that deep exhale. Slowly releasing your hands towards the floor. And then start to shift yourself forward, back into your tabletop. Spread out those fingers. You're going to tuck your back toes under. And this is where if you've got something under your knees, we're going to shift very slowly backwards towards your heels. You're going to be able to take it out in a moment and move it to the side. You're going to lift your hips like someone's lifting you up, sliding into your downward facing dog. And when you get up there, I want you to just alternate, shifting the hips, like move your body, your hips side to side, maybe shift forward and back. And notice the difference. Walking out those feet. And then once you feel that you're good and you want to bring your feet about hip distance apart, I want you to bend, your ankles are bent. I want you to really bend into your knees. Deep bend today. Slide your hips back, push into those fingertips. Now with your weight mostly in the right foot, I want you to lift your left foot off the floor, keep your right knee bent. Extend your left leg up with the right knee bent. Good. And now extend both legs straight. So three-legged dog. Now you're going to bend both knees. So the right knee bends, the left knee bends, the knees tap. And then extend that left leg back up as the right leg straightens. So I want you to always bend and straighten. Again, extend it up. It's a lot easier to get that left leg up when you start by bending the right knee and then lift them together. One last time, bend and then straighten. And then we're going to take that left foot, we're going to place it on the floor, hip distance apart, shift your weight to the left, lift your right foot off, extend it up, and then lengthen through the left leg as you reach the right leg up. Bend the knees, tap the knees, straighten them up, bend the knees, straighten them up. One more time, bend, straighten them up. From here, you're going to bend your left knee, the one you're standing on, pull your right knee to your nose, a nice little rounding through the back, really curve, and then bring your right foot between or behind, either between or behind that right hand. But you want to get it forward. If you need to use your hands, that's fine. Keep that back left knee slightly bent. Good, you're going to keep it bent. make sure your knee is over your ankle. So make that adjustment with your right foot. Pressing into that right foot. We're going to slowly keep your elbows in close to the body as you press up to crescent. But as you come up, I want you to keep your back knee bent. Bend it, bend it. Keep that back knee bent. Gives you a little more support. We're really lengthening through that left hip flexor. Find your breath, find your balance. Embrace any shakiness going on. Now you're going to lengthen and pivot onto the back left leg and open to warrior two. So pivot the whole left foot flat on the floor, right knee to the front, and find your shoulders over hips and lengthen the arms to the front and back of your mat. Lower those shoulders. Find your breath. Now we're going to flip the right palm up and just a very gentle reverse your warrior, reaching your left arm to the left thigh, right arm to the sky. Another breath. And then I want you to take your right hand or forearm, either one, hand or forearm, to the right thigh. Open up that chest, left hand on the hip. I want you to really think about opening up that whole chest. Option, take your left arm to the sky. Now, I don't want you to pull your hand backwards. I want you to pull your shoulder back and just feel the opening, that whole chest. And it can be up. Maybe you want to reach it further over that left arm, over the ear. And feel the connection from your fingertips to your toes. And then we're going to windmill back to warrior two, bending into that front knee. And breathe. Now from here, we're going to windmill that back hand all the way to the floor. And you're going to pivot off your back heel and lower your left knee to the floor to find a low lunge. And you can untuck the toe. This is where you're going to use your block. So you have a block or a chair, something that you can hold on to. Maybe you're close to the wall. I want you to lengthen and stand tall through your spine. Make sure your right knee is over your ankle and your hip is a little bit over in front of that knee. The block is going on the right side right next to you so you can have your fingertips on the block. So we're not leaning forward, we're staying tall. Bring your left arm to the front, reaching it forward. Now we're going to open up and reach that arm towards the back foot. Don't let your back foot move inward. Keep it on the mat and just go as far as you can. And then release, and then open up. And then release, and then open up again. Notice how that foot wants to move. Try not to let it move. And then come back to center. Bring your left fingertips behind your left ear, elbow wide. Now you're going to rotate your belly to the thigh, left elbow to the right knee, and then come all the way back up again. And you're sliding not only your chest forward, but slide your hips forward as you rotate down and in and up. And one more. A nice little rotation and up. Excellent. Release that left arm. Place it on the floor. Go ahead and slide your block to the side. Tuck your left toe back under. We're going to step back with the right leg to a plank. So you're going to release your left foot, knee off the floor, and step all the way back. Finding your plank. And you're breathing. Very good. Now from here, you're going to take your left foot and you're going to walk it, bring it forward to the outside edge of your left hand. You're going to shift your weight onto the right hand, lift your left arm up. Now you're going to bend your back right knee, and if you can, pull it through and extend it. Option to go on the floor, or you can hold it up. And then you're going to sweep it back through and find your plank. And breathe. Hold it here. Then you're going to lower your chest and your knees at the same time towards the floor, all the way to the floor. Untuck the toes, little baby cobra. Exhale back down, tuck your toes. Use your body strength to come all the way back to the plank. Bend your knees, shift your hip backwards, and make those adjustments to a downward facing dog with bent knees. Bent knees. And breathe. And then maybe pedal out your feet. Move your hips side to side. Press into those fingertips on the floor. Now you're going to push most of your weight into the right foot. We're going to bend the right knee, extend the left leg up to the sky, and straighten the right leg. And then you're going to bend the right knee, pull the left knee towards your nose, round through your back, and then bring that left foot flat on the floor. You're going to make sure your knee is over your ankle. Option to use your block. Keep the elbows close as you come up slowly to your crescent lunge. And bend your back right knee. Feel that stretch through the right hip flexor. Find your balance. Find your focal point. Find your breath. Find the connection, the breath, the body. You're going to pivot onto your back right foot and open to warrior two. Again, make sure you can see your left big toe, lengthening through the spine, looking over those left fingertips, shoulders over your hips. Now you're going to flip your left palm up, right hand goes to the back thigh, and just gently reverse your warrior. And just notice what's going on here. One more breath. And then you'll take your hand or your forearm to the left thigh. We're going to find our space here. Hand can be on the hip, or the right hand can be into the air. Now, pull that right shoulder backwards. And let's hold it here. Another option is to reach the hand over the head, over the ear, pushing into the back foot. And just embrace if you have anything going on, that shakiness. And then we're going to windmill that right arm back up. Find your warrior two. Open it up. Now that back arm is going to windmill all the way to the floor. Excellent. And you're going to lower that right knee to the floor and untuck the toe. And this is where you'll get your block and move it to the left side. And slowly come up and make adjustments so when you shift your hips forward, the left knee is over the left ankle and the block is right next to you, so you have something to hold on to. If the block is still too low, maybe your hips are a little bit tight, use a wall, maybe go grab a chair that doesn't roll. Extend your right arm to the front. Shift the hips slightly forward. Keep the back right foot on the floor and rotate back to the right. And then open back to the front. And then pivot and look towards that right foot to the back. And back to center and rotate. And back to center. Last one. Rotate. And then back to center. Bring your right fingertips behind the right ear. And then we're going to lower. Elbow to knee. Hinge forward with the hips. Come back to neutral. And again, lower in. Come back up. Two more times. Lower in. Come back up. Last one. Lower in. Come back up. And then go ahead and bring your hands to the floor. You can slide your block out of the way. Tuck your back toe under, lifting the right knee and stepping back to plank. So let's hold your plank here for a moment. Find your strength. Take your right foot, and I want you to step it forward out to the right side. As close as you can comfortably get, you're going to reach your right arm to the sky. Bend your left knee and pull it towards your chest. Maybe send it through. hold it over the floor or to the floor, and then slowly slide it back under, step back, and find your plank again. Now as we lower to the floor, the knees and the chest are going at the same time. So everything, elbows are coming into the ribs, knees to the floor, chest to the floor. Untuck the toes, little baby cobra. Feel free to go higher up to an up dog. And then go back to the knees though, and lower. Tuck your toes, and then use the upper body strength with the knees bent to push yourself back up. Keep the knees bent, send the hips back. Keep the knees bent in that downward facing dog. Nice and low, good. Press your right foot into the floor, lengthen and lift the left leg. Now straighten the right, and then bend the right, straighten the right. See how much higher your left leg can go. Keep the right leg straight and push the heel slightly towards the floor, and then bend your left knee and pull it over to your right, stacking those hips. And then slowly lower that left foot to the floor. We're going to bend both knees, lift your right leg, extend it up, straighten the left leg, feel how much higher, bend the left leg, lift and straighten, feel how much higher that right leg goes. One more time, bend, straighten and lengthen, and then push your heel to the floor, bend your right knee, stack those hips. And then slowly bring both feet back to the floor. Bend those knees. Find your downward facing dog. Now, lift your right foot off the floor, left knee's bent. Lengthen both legs, lift a three-legged dog. Bend your left knee as you pull your right knee towards your nose, and then bring your right foot to the floor. Pivot onto the back left foot as you come up into a warrior one. And just keep a little bit more of an open hip on this one. That foot is slightly out this time. Changing things up. And breathe. Let's open a little wider. Turn that foot out and find your warrior two. Now you're going to straighten out the front knee, that right knee, and start to reach it slightly forward to the front. Bring your hand on the inside of the thigh, left hand to the hip for side angle. Now option to side bend into it a little deeper. And now pull your top left shoulder back. So we're keeping things a little shorter today. Option to lift your left arm up. And maybe you can go lower, maybe not. Again, it's up to you what your body can do. Take your top arm, bend your front knee, and lower that top arm to the floor. Bring both fingertips to the floor, pivot off your back heel so you're in a low lunge. Plant your hands if you can, and step back to plank. Really find that strength. And then bend your knees, shift your hips backwards, and push your hips up. Find your downward facing dog. Pressing into those fingertips. Now you're going to push into the right foot. Lift your left foot off the floor. Keep the right knee bent. Extend the left leg up. Then straighten out that right knee. And then bend your right knee, bend your left, pull your left knee towards your nose, and then bring it to the floor. Behind your left hand or between your hands. Bring your back right foot a little bit wider. Plant the foot. Keep everything close to the body as you press up through the front leg, finding a little bit wider stance, warrior one. Lengthening through the spine. Find your breath. Keep things slow, controlled. Finding that breath again, and then we're going to pivot a little wider and turn open that right foot and find your warrior two. Pull the shoulders back and down, and then we're going to straighten out that left leg. Thumbs are up, and start to hinge the hips to the back of your mat and reach the left arm forward and maybe slide the hand on the inside of the thigh, right hand to the hip. And as you start to hinge your body down towards the front of your mat, opening up that chest, slide that right shoulder back a little further. Option to bring that right hand up. And just go with what feels good to you. Finding your breath. No tension. Make adjustments. Maybe you use your block here. Maybe you have your hand on your thigh or your ankle. Either is fine. Now that top arm is going to start to come down as you bend your left knee. And slowly bring both hands to the floor. Pivot off of your back heel. So you're in your low lunge. And then gently start to plant your hands and then slide slowly back to your plank. And just breathe here. Now from here, we're going to start to lower our knees to the floor and then untuck the toes. So the tops of the feet are on the mat and you're spreading out those fingertips. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and see if you can lengthen through the spine. Open the chest a little more. Find your breath. Maybe you feel that core starting to engage more. See if you can push into the top of your right foot and maybe lift your right knee just barely off the floor. And then lower it. And now the opposite. Slightly push into the left foot, top of it, lift the knee. Now you know what's coming. We're going to do both. So option, lift both knees slightly off the floor. If you're feeling anything in the low back, lift your hips higher. One more breath here. Embrace the shakiness. And then lower the knees to the floor. Walk your knees apart, feet together, slide into child's pose. And just relax here, stretch it out. Find your breath. One more breath. Then you're going to start to shift yourselves up, back into tabletop. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Pushing into the tops of the feet. Walk your hands just a tiny bit closer underneath those shoulders. And I want you to feel yourself pushing through the tops of the feet, round through the back. And then inhale, lift and arch the back. A little cat-cow there. And then find your neutral spine. Feel the crown of your head pushing to the front, the tailbone to the back. Push into the tops of the feet. Option to lift the knees off the floor. Embracing that core. Find your breath. Inhale. Exhale the knees to the floor. Nice work. Go ahead and cross the feet or bring them to the side as we shift back onto our bottom. And then bring the feet out in front of us and drop the knees open and the bottoms of the feet together. And we're going to hold onto the ankles and lift nice and wide. And then just start to hinge forward and focus on gently pushing those knees towards the floor. Feel the shoulders pulling away from the ears, finding your breath. One more, lean into it a little deeper. Maybe you push your elbows into the thighs. And then we're going to lengthen through the spine in case you were rounding. Lift up higher and then hug the knees into the chest. Maybe grab your wrists, forearms, or your elbows and sit as tall as you can. Nice little stretch here. Then from here, we're going to straighten out the left leg and bring your right leg across the left thigh. Now, option is you can stay here or you can bend your left leg and pull your right heel towards your left heel towards your right glute. We're just going to hug that right knee, Reach back behind you with the right hand and a gentle twist to the right. Stretching through the glute, the belly, the thoracic spine. So great stretch here. One more breath, and then we're slowly going to unwind. Bring your right elbow on the inside, open up the fingers. Left hand behind you as a kickstand. Lift and lengthen as tall as you can. So even if your leg is straight, on the left leg, you can still do this one. Take your right hand and reach it down towards your right foot on the inside. And lengthen, and maybe hold either the ankle or the foot. Lift taller through the spine, and lift your left arm up over your head. And then gently reach your left hand over to the right. Just a little extra stretch. And then slowly release that hand to the floor. Release your hand from your foot. If your leg is bent, we're going to straighten out that left leg. Uncross the right, and then as it goes long, we shift tall as we bend our left knee in. Give it a squeeze into the chest to check in with everything. So we want to gently see what's going on with the body as we move into each posture and even before. So take your left foot and cross it over the right thigh. And just notice how that feels. Again, lengthening. Hold on to that left knee with that right arm. Just give it a nice squeeze. You can bring your left hand behind you. Now that option, you still have the option on this side. So you would lean to your right as you bend your right knee and heel to the left glute. And lift and twist. Feeling that nice stretch through the glute and the hip. Find your breath, lengthening. Maybe looking behind you over your left shoulder. And then you're slowly going to counter stretch. So twist towards the right. Bring your left elbow inside your left knee. Open up the fingertips. Reach your right hand behind and twist again. Finding your breath. Take your left hand and straighten it and reach down to your foot or your ankle. Just right on the inside there. And then reach your right arm up to the sky. Slightly bend to your left. Staying tall with a slight side lean. Find your breath. And then slowly releasing that right arm to the floor. Letting go with your left. If your right leg is bent, go ahead and straighten it out in front of you. And bring your left leg straight. Hands behind you. Fingertips spread out on the floor. Just give the feet a little windshield wiper motion. If it's better for your wrist to be rotated and your fingers to the back, that is totally fine. And then bend the knees. Place the feet flat. Realign everything. Spread out those fingers. Let's open the chest again. Look diagonally up in front of you. Never drop your head back because that's a lot of pressure on that cervical vertebrae. But just kind of do some bend and straighten with those elbows. Find that comfortable position. Lengthening through the spine. Good. Let's bend the elbows and then start to lift the hips up with the elbows bent. Then you can start to straighten your arms a little. And just feel the difference. You can even lower the hips, bend the knees, and then lift up again. And do that a couple more times. Lower the hips, bend the elbows, lift up. Feel a little extra extension through the shoulders one more time. And lift and open. Might feel a little better. And then this time we're going to lower the hips all the way to the floor. Release the hands, slide them under the thighs, and just hold on to the fingers, interlace them, lengthen. Tuck your chin slightly, and just feel a nice little pull down on the shoulders, and then draw your right ear to the right shoulder, stretching through the left side of the neck, and then center, and then the other side, and then back to center, and then chin to chest. and then neutral. We're going to release the hands. If you are not in the front of your mat, and make sure you are so you can have room to lay back, find your boat pose, holding onto the back of the thighs, heels on the floor, toes up. Start to lean back just enough till you start to feel that core. So I want you to really embrace what you're feeling. If you start to go into your low back, sit yourself up higher. Now from here, holding onto the thighs, I just want you to release your right arm only. And just notice what changes. Notice what part of the body is working. Take your right hand, place it back under your thigh, release your left arm. Notice if one side works harder than the other. And bring the hand back to the thigh. Now you can repeat that, or you can lift your feet off the floor, continue holding onto the thighs, release your right hand only. And just notice, bring it back, release the left. Is it easier or harder off the floor or on the floor? Bring the heels all the way back down, lengthen through the spine, hinge back just enough, bring the right arm up to the sky and lean back a little bit with it. Notice the difference. Slowly bring the hand to the thigh, release the left, lift it up, lean back with it just a little bit. Try not to hold on too tight with that right hand. Now, option to release both hands. Find your core strength. Try not to go into the hips down below. Maybe even straighten out the legs slightly. Not all the way, just knees are still bent. And then slowly lower your elbows to the floor. Slide your hands to your hips as you lay all the way onto your back. And then bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. You're going to walk your hands towards your heels. Place your feet about hip distance apart. And then once you feel like they're hip distance apart, heel toe in like another inch or so. So they're not touching, but they're a little bit closer. And we're going to do a gentle rock of the hips. So you might feel the back push into the floor, a tiny little arch, just a gentle rock. Then I want you to rotate the hips so the back, it kind of starts to go towards the floor, but the bottom of your, almost by your bottom of your glutes, lift up, and then just lift to a very mini little bridge. So right when you come up, don't let your rib cage come up today. We're going to play around with this. And then very slowly rotate down through the vertebrae, down to the glutes. So it's a small little bridge. Firing up those glutes, making the core work, lift again, but just a tiny one, keeping the rib cage on the floor, and then lower back down. Got one more. Tiny little rotate of the hips, lift up, keep the rib cage down, and then lower all the way back down. Good. Now from here, let's pull the right knee into the chest, lengthen the left leg to the front of your mat. Take a nice deep breath in, close your eyes for a moment, feel your shoulders relaxing. Feel the length. And then very slowly pull your left knee into the chest and release your right leg all the way back down towards the floor. Relax your shoulders. You can have your eyes open or closed. If you can, close them, relax, find your breath. Pull your right knee into the chest, give it a squeeze, a gentle rock side to side. And now you're going to place both feet flat on the floor. Knees are bent, hip distance apart. Bring your arms out just a little bit, about 45 degrees. And then pull your elbows wider, and actually we're going to put your hands on your hip bones. So place your fingertips inward, palms on your hip bones. So don't let your pelvis rotate or your hips, and gently start to drop your right knee out to the side. Just a little, it starts to rotate onto the outside edge. Don't let your hip move. And then slowly bring it back in to neutral. and then drop your left knee open. Keep your hands on those hips. They might want to rotate, don't let them. And then slowly bring it back up. And try one more time on the right, dropping it open. Notice what's going on in the core. It should be firing up a bit to keep things under control if you're not moving those hips. Knee comes back, and then last one. Left one drops open. Fire up that core to bring that knee back in. And then this time we're going to take the right ankle and cross it over the left thigh. Push that right knee open. Just feel that nice little hip stretch. Now, option here, place your fingertips on the floor down by your hips and gently lift to a single leg bridge. So you're lengthening, opening up that hip, and then you're going to lower it back down. Cross the right thigh nice and tight over the left thigh. And then start to drop both legs to your left. Now, option to bring your arms out to the side, cactus arms, or you can even just bring them up a little bit over your head, but relaxed on the mat. One more breath. And then we're going to come back to center, uncross the leg, place it on the floor, and then bring your left leg up and open, crossing the ankle over the thigh, open up that left knee. And again, bring your hands down next to your hips and start to lift to a single leg bridge. And just notice the difference. We're not here very long. Then we're going to lower back down and then cross that left knee nice and tight over your right thigh. Again, arms can be out to the side, cactus arms, or even just bend them, bringing the fingertips over your head. And then drop both knees to your right. And keeping both shoulders on the floor. And just feel that nice stretch there. One more breath. And then we're slowly coming all the way back up. We're going to uncross that leg. Bring the hands down by your side. And then slowly just straighten both legs. Let them fall open. Give them a shake. Walk the shoulders away from the ears, turning your palms up, finding your Shavasana. And just find your breath. Notice what's going on in the body. Maybe you feel that you've released a lot of tension. Your hips might be more mobile. Might be a little more strength in your upper body and your legs. Core might be nice and warm. Touched a lot of areas today. And you are welcome to stay in your Shavasana longer, or you can roll to either side and give your knees a squeeze, stretching out that low back, and then working your way up to a seated posture again, or you're welcome to stay in that Shavasana longer. Finding a nice, tall, easy seat, palms on the thighs, closing the eyes. Find your length, find your breath. Take a deep breath in, reach the palms overhead, peek at those fingertips, exhale, palms to heart space. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.